Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Can I request you to please settle down so we get started? It's sharp 6 o'clock.
Hello. We're requesting you all to settle down. We'll start off the event. All right, it's time. The moment has come for we all have been all waiting for. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Are you all excited? I'm sure you are, right? Well, help me invite the MC for the evening today, Head of Sales, AMWAY India, Vijay Gulani.
Hey everyone, Namaskar. A very good evening to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome to this power-packed week in India, and welcome to one more very power-packed day today here in New Delhi. And we all know from Hong Kong, Clement and Anita Fu, they landed in India. Absolutely, let's give them a big hand. They very kindly accepted the invite from Rajnish Chopra, the Managing Director for India, and they spent the whole week here in India, starting with Mumbai on the 15th, they were in Delhi on the 16th, they were at Calcutta on the 18th, and finally they did the finale for Tamil Nadu, South region at Chennai on the 20th. And 21st night, they flew back to Hong Kong with a lot of gratitude and a lot of positive energy from all the leaders here in this room and your extended teams in India. So give yourself a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. And as we have concluded that power-packed week, here we are again in this room today with a very, very powerful, power-packed audience. We have got all the diamonds and above sitting in the room here, and we have got in the room the co-chair, the board of directors for AMWAY Corporation. We have got the president for AMWAY Markets in the room with all of us. We have got the chief sales officer and regional president for Southeast Asia, including India. And we have got the vice president finance for the East markets with all of us out here. So let's give all of you and our esteemed guests a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And as we envisage this program, we wanted to get all our diamonds in the room. But as during the last 1 week, we were traveling around the country, a lot of leaders, from within this room, they came back saying, Rajnish, it's great that we're getting diamonds in the room. What if our teams can also listen to this very, very inspiring session firsthand? And in the last 48 hours, we were also able to put all the arrangements together, get the go-ahead from the Doug's office. And today, we not just have diamonds and above in the room here, we've got your LOSs, your downlines, all connected virtually. Because you're going to live stream this session for all your LOSs across the length and the breadth of the country. So isn't that great? Because that really gives us the opportunity to not just energize the audience in the room, but the audience across the country with this very, very super inspiring session that we will host over the next 1 hour with all of you, out there. And as we get started, may I request all of us to please stand up for national anthem.
Punjab
settle down. And as we kick off this very, very special program today, we want to make sure that you are able to connect with every single word that comes across to you from our valued guest in the meeting today. So with the help of our leaders, what we have also done is to put a translation in place. And what we have done, we have identified 4 languages. Of course, all our guests will speak in English, so we will have Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, and Bengali. And what you would find on each of your work tables and the seats is a little device. That device has channels. And what I would encourage you to choose, if you want to listen, hear all the conversation by all the speakers in Hindi, please choose channel 1. If you want to hear this in Tamil, of course, channel 3. If you want to hear this in Telugu, channel 4, and choose 5 if you want to listen to the conversation in Bengali for channel 5. While our virtual audience will hear all the messages firsthand directly in English, but for the audience in the room, we have also the 4 languages so that the message doesn't get lost as it gets translated from here to each one of you in the room. And I also want to take the opportunity, because this translation is done none other than by our esteemed leaders, and I want to, on behalf of all of you, extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Sudhir Arora, Founders Platinum from Delhi. He'll be helping us translate this in Hindi. Akila Satish, they will be translating in Tamil. P. Sudha, who will be translating in Telugu. And Sutapa Bhattacharya, who would be translating this in Bengali for our esteemed audience in the room. So let's sincerely thank all of them for their partnership and being here to really create that connect. Now, as we get started, I will request all of you to please put your mobile phones on silent mode so that no one gets distracted, neither you nor your neighbor in the room. And to kick off this very, very special occasion today, ladies and gentlemen, please help me invite my upline, Managing Director, AMWAY India, Mr. Rajneesh Chopra on the stage.
So, namaste and welcome to all of you. This is, like Vijay was mentioning, this is a very special moment for us. I was just reflecting on the last 12 months. We've had the opportunity to meet with all of you several times. I think many of you have come back to me saying, oh my gosh, we're meeting like 4th or 5th time in the last 12 months. That's a good problem to have, right? We want to make sure that we're meeting with each other and we are constantly communicating with each other, because it's all about building strong partnership. It's all about building that trust and ensuring that we work together as one team. And you saw it also on the screens. What I want to do first and foremost is request all of you to stand. I want to put my hands together, all of us, and congratulate each one of you for your accomplishments in the AMWAY business. You all make us so proud. You all make us so very proud. Yesterday was very special as you came to the new home for AMWAY. How many of you walked through the new headquarters? All of you. Some have been there before, some, isn't that such a great place to be? I'm sure many of you were sending me messages and videos, and it was remarkable to see the energy and the passion and your commitment back into the AMWAY business. And, as I reflect on that, yesterday was special. This morning you went through the sneak peek of Vitamin C, relaunch coming back again. there are many good things that are happening in the business. And what I wanted to do before I kind of talk about all of that, I also want to take you back to the present moment. And the present moment is historic for all of us. All of you and for us as a company. And that is because of the special global leadership team that we have here with us today. Doug Devos, John Parker, Luke Neuenhuis, and Joe Lanstra. Why are they all here? Because they have so much belief and confidence in each one of you. They have so much belief and confidence in India. They have belief and confidence in the future that you have with the Amway business in India. And that's why they are here. And I can tell you, I am extremely proud that this is happening right now. And this is going to help us recreate our history for India. And I'll shortly be inviting them. But before I do that, I just wanted to talk about, you saw a lot of videos about Jay and Rich and the legacy. We are rooted in founders' fundamentals and values. And these are timeless for us, all of us. And you've seen all the branding, the images outside the room and inside the room. That is who we are. That is our culture. And it is a testament that Doug is here today because he truly believes in your spirit, in where you are taking the Amway business in India and the future of the Amway business. And I can tell you that this is a very, very exciting, encouraging moment for us to capture and to build on. Last week, as Vijay was talking about, we had Anita and Clement Fu. They did 4 cities, and they did a phenomenal job. You would all agree with that, right? At the leadership meetings, right? I was told by many of you, we had the first international speaker in over 10 years. There are a lot of firsts which are happening in our business right now. So that's very exciting to see and believe in that, right? Our story is getting stitched perfectly. We are celebrating our 90th year of Neutralite. We are celebrating our 65th year of Amway anniversary. And we are celebrating our 10th year of manufacturing in India. So all of this is rooted in who we are and where we stand for. There's a lot to celebrate for each one of us. And I encourage each one of you to take that moment and celebrate in who we are and how we tell our story. But when I talk about the manufacturing plant, we are only one of the 3 countries in the world of Amway which have that privilege. We are very, very grateful that we have millions of dollars of investment in our manufacturing plant. We have 4 science and innovation labs. And all of that is a testament to Amway's commitment to the country and to all of you. Last 12 months have been transformational. And some of you have felt it, some of you are feeling it, and some of you will continue to experience it as we move forward into 2025. I can tell you that one of the biggest problems or challenges that was pushed forward to me was about unauthorized sellers. I heard that repeatedly from many, many leaders. That was the single largest challenge for us to tackle, and I wouldn't say we've overcome that, but it pains my heart, I can tell you, but we've had to terminate 559 businesses in 2024. It's the right thing to do. We will continue to protect and ensure that we provide a level playing field to everyone. And we will continue to work on that till we ensure that that becomes lesser of a challenge for your new people as they go out and sell Amway products. The second big thing that I would call out is our our ALS in Kochi, it was transformational. You know, the feedback that we got was incredible. We had 85% delight score coming out of ALS Kochi, and many of you came back, recommitted yourself to the business, came to me and said, this is my first ALS in 6 years, my first leadership seminar in 6 years, and I am very thankful and grateful to those people who are coming back and recommitting and re-engaging in the business. So give yourselves a big round of applause. The third, I would say, we announced and we worked out a way to take our non-cash awards international again. And I think that's another big achievement in the last 12 months. Fourth, I would say, was really around, you know, the fact that we took the new Platinum conference to our manufacturing plant in Madurai. And the tax element on all the new Platinums came from whatever amount it was to zero. And, you know, we will continue to build on this. We will continue to ensure that we are giving the new Platinums, for example, the best experience and helping them build their belief and confidence in the products. And we have such a world-class manufacturing facility. In fact, some of the regulators tell me in the state that it is, that they have never ever seen a manufacturing plant better than ours. Now, you should be proud of that. And I committed to each one of you who has not been to the manufacturing plant that we'll take you there. And that has also happened, right? Many of you been to the manufacturing plant now. And that'll all go on. We opened up 2 stores, one in Thane, one in Ranchi. And that was important. We were establishing ourselves back in the state of Mumbai, in the state of Maharashtra, back into the city of Mumbai, by ensuring that we are present and we are there to help you build your AMWAY business. And more of this is going to be coming. We simplified some of the early incentives. We also put ABO back into ABO. As simple as that. We are sorry that we confused you, we called you different things, and I remember that I talked to many of you that, who are you? Right? You are AMWAY business owners, and that's who you are, and that's what you should be called. We also brought back the face-to-face meetings, where we all come together and we talk about how we're going to move our business forward, your business forward. You know, our priorities are well described, and I've shared all of that with many of you across the last 2 to 3 months. You know, the first one, our strategic priority, elevating our values and culture. The second one is really around ensuring that we are accelerating our innovation product pipeline. The third is strengthening our partnership, the plan, and ensuring that we are there to serve you and partner with you in making it as competitive as it gets. You know, we've also, in the last 2 to 3 months, very proud to say that we worked together with you to bring to life 5 different innovation labs. Many of you here in this room are part of those innovation labs. And that's how we're going to work together. We will co-create and co-develop all of these things. And it's going to be an important time for us. We are bringing back the physical meetings. How many of you have attended the physical meetings? Many of you. And this is going to continue happening. The opportunity meetings, the physical meetings are coming back again. We also want the stores to become an extension of ourselves, extension of our communities. Those stores have to become your home, where they are located, and they need to serve you and your teams. We had the Diamond visiting our headquarters, right, as I talked about earlier. You know, India is on a remarkable transformational journey. We are talked around the world as the biggest opportunity in terms of where we are going as an economy. We will be in the next 5 years the 3rd largest economy in the world. And we all should be very proud that we will have a role to play in that emerging economy. And We also have the largest young population in the world. 65% of our population is below the age of 35. And we also have 50% below the age of 25. It presents us a unique opportunity to build a generational business. And I urge all of us to think in bringing in younger people into our business, because that's really our future. Well, I talked about the global leadership team. That time is coming. I would want to now request all of you to stand up and give a warm India welcome to our Chief Sales Officer and Regional President, Southeast Asia, India, Luke Neonheis. Luke, please.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to all of you. It's an honor for me to be here with all of you tonight. But before I jump into to some of my messaging, I actually want to recognize Rajneesh. Rajneesh and I go way back in the world of Amway. We've had the chance to work together in many different roles in different parts of the world. And having Rajneesh back here with all of you is fantastic. We're so grateful for you, Rajneesh. Appreciate everything that you've done so far, and just want to continue to partner with you and the rest of the India leadership team to continue this amazing trajectory that we have in the market. Thank you. So I'll spend a minute just introducing myself to all of you. For some of us, we've had a chance to meet over the years, or recently when I was here with some of you. I've spent 21 years at Amway and have had the opportunity to work in very different parts of our organization. I worked in supply chain and strategy, technology, and most recently in global sales, and now have the chance to serve as regional president for Southeast Asia and India. And what I've learned, thank you. What I've learned through those different experiences and having the chance to see the world of Amway and how it works at headquarters is the ability to see this business from so many different dimensions and so many different angles. And I think you all experience that, right? You've got experiences with technology, with product, certainly the strategic direction of our company, and more with many of the reward and recognition programs that we have. And so what I want to be able to do is advocate for all of you. I want to advocate for Rajneesh. I want to advocate for the leadership team here. Because what we have is a tremendous opportunity, I think, in this market, as Rajneesh mentioned, even more so than many of our other markets around the world. The opportunity to restart and rebuild with leaders like yourselves is something that I'm incredibly excited about and so honored to be able to take on this work within the world of Amway. I wear two hats. One is as Chief Sales Officer, so that pertains to all things related to rewards and recognition, so things like Core Plan, Core Plus, GAR, FAA. Some have a love-hate relationship with some of those things. But we're committed to continuing to review and continue to assess. What's the right thing to do in the world of Amway? What's the right thing to do for leaders like yourself? To continue to create a lot of motivation, excitement, passion that's rewarding for you, but also the groups that you lead. So that's one of my hats. The other hat is as regional president. So that includes India, but then all of Southeast Asia as well. So I have the opportunity to see and understand what's working in Malaysia, what's working in Vietnam, what's working in Indonesia, and how can we share some of those ideas and leader engagements across all of those markets as well. So I'm more excited now in my 21 years of Amway than I've ever been. It's great to be able to be here with all of you, really thinking about the future direction of the business here. And a forum like this, to bring all of the diamonds together, is just an amazing chance for us to talk, learn from each other, have an opportunity to reunite. I think it's been probably a long time since many of us have been together as well. We also have a new CEO, Michael Nelson. Some of you may know him. It's a great addition to that role, and he has been met with just a very, very warm welcome in all of the markets that he's been in. What you see on the sides of the stage is the Founders Fundamentals and the Amway Values. In fact, I think they were outside these doors as well. Our goal is for you to see a lot more of those. Not just on the screen or not just on paper, but in the way that we act and live. And seeing a lot of the work that we've been doing over the past, even just few months, has given me renewed excitement and energy about what's core to Amway. What's our core purpose of helping people live better lives? And how do all of us bring that to life? I think historically these should feel very familiar to all of you, right? So a mission of helping people live better lives, Amway's values and Founders Fundamentals. I actually think they're even more important now and more relevant than they ever have been in the past. Think about all of the opportunities that we have to show who we are, what we bring, how we can genuinely help people live better lives, and how we can do that not only in a market like India, but around the world. The future is bright. We look forward to A70, which is a milestone anniversary for us. We're currently planning many of the things that will happen as part of Performance Year 26, 27, and 28 to ensure that we have as many diamonds at A70 as possible. So our team is really looking at all of those different ways to envision what might that look like and how can we encourage and create new energy and growth within the markets. Rajneesh mentioned we have 3 enterprise priorities, and actually today I think you'll hear a lot about the first one. Doug is going to speak on that relative to Amway Values and Founders Fundamentals. And then John and I have the opportunity to talk a little bit more about the other 2 priorities. So Rajneesh mentioned priority number 2, around the portfolio. We know we have the need for continued innovation in product space. We've got some of the best scientists in the world. Here in India, across Southeast Asia, in China, in the US, across the globe. They have been given a new charge to continue to explore and advance new ideas for innovative products, certainly in our nutrition line, but beyond that as well. I think what you'll hear and continue to see from us is innovation will come across the entire portfolio, and we're excited about a lot of the new developments and opportunity for us to build that into our business. Our third priority is around partnership and plan and rewards and recognition, right near and dear to my heart as someone who's responsible in our global sales division. And as I mentioned, we are taking a fresh look at that. We know through many of the past several years, we've made a lot of changes. And we know for many leaders like yourselves, sometimes it takes time to understand what is the new direction, how do we adapt to that, and how do we simultaneously hold true to the core of what we know about Amway. I think what you'll hear from us is the strategic direction will continue to be very much focused on the core Amway business. Our purpose remains consistent. The way that we express that and want that to continue to grow, again, is more relevant now than it's ever been before. And I think in particular, with all of you being here in this market in India, we couldn't be more excited about the future. I'm so encouraged by having the chance to meet all of you. You're the leaders who hold the future of India in your hands. And we just want to encourage you to continue to push us in the right ways, continue to push yourselves in the right ways, and we look forward to many, many more years of growth together. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Luke. He's absolutely right. We've had lots of opportunity to work together during my time in North America, and Luke and I had we were in the midst of some really difficult but engaging conversations with the transformation that we were bringing in North America. So it's a wonderful. He's a wonderful partner, supporter of everything that we do in India, and he's been right at the in February. First week he was here with us in India, and he met with some of the leaders as well, and we put him through a very intense and grueling 2.5, 3 days where he didn't really have any time to recover from a jet lag. And before it was time, he said, okay, I'm ready to go back home. But you know, he's again one of those leaders in the business who's very, very humble and works and partners with you to make things happen. That's Luke Nieuwenhuis. So now it gives me pleasure to introduce another leader to all of you, somebody who's very well known to all of you, and that's the president of all AMWAY markets, John Parker. John and I go back a long way. We have many, many stories to tell about each other. And I can tell you, again, he's one of those people I constantly learn from. And I used to have whatever issue I used to have or whatever topic I wanted to discuss and find solutions for, I used to go knocking on John's door, I still remember, and always welcomed and always supportive of trying to help you succeed. And I think that's his motto. He always wants his team to succeed, always wants the ABUs to succeed. So with that, let's give him a warm India welcome, John Parker.
Buddy, there we go, we're on. Wow, it is great to be back in India. Just looking around the room and, you know, seeing so many old friends. I mean, our friendship is old, not your old. Our friendship has endured. And, you know, I really want to start, you know, my comments by just expressing my gratitude to all of you for, you know, your leadership and your partnership, sometimes through good times, sometimes through difficult times. And, you know, we're here representing the entire AMWAY team, you know, all the employees back in Ada. And, you know, we are so grateful for each and every one of you and the way in which you are partnering with Rajneesh and the team, the way in which you lead through good times and tough times, and really the way you look to the future and see a vision for yourselves, your families, and your teams, and help make that real. You know, I really believe, and you've heard it already, and I'm sure you've been hearing it, this is really an important time in, as Rajneesh said, the story of AMWAY India. So the market may have opened in 1998, but, you know, I think this business, the business opportunity, and your journey, your story, I think this really is an important time. And that's why we're all here. That we're here because we want to be here. We want to be with you. We want to spend time together. But, you know, we want to kind of, you know, build that vision for the future together as well. And, you know, as we think about the future of the AMWAY business around the world, Rajneesh referenced it, you know, we often get asked as we travel to different markets, you know, what are the markets that AMWAY is the most optimistic about? What are the markets that have the most potential? And, you know, obviously India is at the top of that list, and there's all kinds of facts and, yeah, absolutely. There's all kinds of facts and figures about, you know, why that rationally makes sense, right? You know, the world's biggest democracy, and, you know, Rajneesh mentioned others, you know, on the way to being the third largest economy in the world, and, you know, it's just, there's qualities and traits, and, you know, it's not hard to see that. But really, the reason why we feel the future of India is so great is because of all of you. It's because of our belief in you as people and as leaders. And, you know, this business doesn't work without the right partnership. And Luke referenced it. You have Amway's best in Rajneesh. And we are so grateful for his leadership. And we're so grateful for your leadership in how you have committed to work together, to solve problems, and to make the business better for the future, for you and for those ABOs and your organizations. And know that you can count on us as well. There's a big buzz in Ada about Amway India. And that's because of, you know, all the facts, that's because of the opportunity, and it's because of, you know, what the employees in Ada hear from leaders like Michael Nelson, our new CEO, who, you know, as Luke said, is just an amazing Amway leader and someone I'm really excited for you all to get to know. But, you know, we reference that because we want you to know, you know, the company's in good hands. And, you know, the business is led, the company is led by Doug and Steve and the families. And in our responsibility as management, you know, top of that list is our partnership with you and working every day to make the business better. And it's reflected in the priorities that Luke spoke to. You know, and we're going to bring innovation and great things to the business, but we're going to also be rooted in our values and our founders' fundamentals. And I think for us, for the group of people in this room, certainly, those aren't just words. Those carry depth and meaning that is, you know, important to all of us. And, you know that we as employees are committed to working together in the spirit of freedom, family, hope, and reward, and with our values, you know, of partnership and personal worth and responsibility and integrity. And, you know, I don't want to stand up here and tell you, you can count on us, and we're going to be better partners in the future, and we're going to work together with you like never before, because I want our actions to speak louder than our words. But know that we are committed to you. Know that we are committed to you as people, as business owners, as partners. We're committed to India as a market. And, you know, as I said up front, the story of this business, your story in this business, has not been written yet. It's only been started. And we're going to stand on these fundamentals and these values to build the rest of that story together. And we appreciate you very much. We're excited to be on this journey together with you. And we are very optimistic about the future of the business. And we look forward to making that future real. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, John. You know, two goals that we set up for ourselves, and I think John kind of reflected on that, which is such an important thing. This is not my goal, or, you know, we've talked about us building it together. The first one was really around transformation of 5 million people's lives over the course of the next 5 years. It's a very tangible goal of what we can do and how we can do it together. The second one is really about India's potential of having one crown by each state and union territory. And that crown is going to be you. You. By all those states and union territories. We know it's going to happen. And it is that time, that inflection point that John was talking about is now. We are not going to wait for that to happen. We will make it happen. The important thing is we will do this together in a very, very strong spirit of partnership. Well, that time and that moment has come now. And it gives me great pleasure and honor to invite a person who is symbolic of our founders' fundamentals, is synonymous with our values, full of integrity, a beacon of humility, and somebody who inspires millions of people all around the world. Please put your hands together and welcome Doug Devos.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. All right. Thanks to you, huh? Thank you. All right, take a seat. We got work to do. I want to start with a quick story before I even pass my greetings and thanks along. A number of years ago, when the world was coming out of the great economic crisis that was happening 2008, 2009, I was doing an interview, and the reporter was very focused on that. And so the first question was, what's Amway's strategy because of the global economic crisis? And I said, well, we look beyond the current challenges of the day. Amway we have a long history, we have a bright future. This is something that we'll deal with. And I thought I gave a great answer. I mean, I really did. It was one of those times I thought, I really nailed that one. And she looks at me and she was not convinced, and she says, okay, well, what's Amway's product strategy because of the global economic crisis? And I reflected again, and I tried to give the same answer. I think, well, we think about products, what the market wants, and the market will continue to have needs even beyond the current day, and we'll keep thinking about the future. And she didn't like that answer either. And then there's like, well, what's Amway's distribution strategy because of the global economic crisis? And I actually stopped, and I looked over. I grabbed her arm, and I said, it's going to be okay. I said, we're going to get through this, And I think sometimes in the Amway business with some ups and downs, I want to be here with all of us together to say, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Right? We're together. We're here. Amway is still Amway, and I want to declare that to you, and I want to talk about that today, that the foundations that were so attractive and powerful, and maybe when you first signed up, when you first heard about Amway, that energy and that excitement is still here, even though we've gone through some challenges. And so I want to just let you know how honored I am to have the chance to be with all of you, and how honored I am that you have worked continuously so hard, and that you are here, and that you have stood with us through these challenges, and that you have remained strong, and you have remained committed. And we are so proud of you, and we are so grateful for each and every one of you. And I can say we're going to be more than okay. The future's going to be great. And we're going to have a chance to shape and craft and build that future together. Because that's what Amway stands on. Right? That's what we stand on. So I want to spend most of my time here talking, as we've said, about the founders' fundamentals, about the values. And I want to talk about these ideas that shape Amway from a perspective of who we are and why we do what we do. Who we are and why we do what we do. And that's our culture. That's what binds us together. Those are the connection points, and you as leaders, and all of us as leaders, have to live this every day. And when we live our culture and when we stay connected, we will go through different strategies. We will make different mistakes. We will have different successes. We will find our way through, but we will be together. And we will know who we are and why we do what we do, because these ideas, the founders' fundamentals and the values, define us. They don't simply describe us. They don't simply describe us as, well, you're in this product category, or you have this office location, or you have this manufacturing facility. Those things describe Amway, but it's these ideas that define Amway and define who we are and what holds us together. And it's these ideas that have brought us through these past 65 years to where we are, and that will stick with us and guide us for the next 65 years into the future. It's these ideas that are going to allow us to work together to define and identify the right strategies and the right work to do to maximize the opportunity and the potential that India has as a market, as we've talked about. This massive opportunity. It's these ideas that are going to unlock the key, and we're going to figure out together the strategies and the actions to further these ideas and live them in the marketplace to achieve that success. It's these ideas that have connected us and connected to people all over the world and through generations. So the reason we're spending time talking about these again is we had a sense in a couple ways. We kind of had a sense, and I know COVID had a lot to do with it, and there was other issues that we were dealing with where there wasn't the same connectivity that was going on. We had a sense that we were kind of drifting, that we were forgetting who we were as an organization. And as a family, our next generation is growing up, and we realized we hadn't done as good of a job as we needed to do to articulate to them why this business was so important for them and for their future, and why they needed to be committed to it in a way to ensure the ongoing nature of this business for generations into the future. And we realized that we hadn't spent the time to go through this with them and articulate to them these ideas and the importance of these ideas. And so it's important as we go through ups and downs and as we deal with challenges that we faced to remind ourselves of who we are and why we do what we do. And when I was walking in here, I was watching Dad's video, I miss him every day. I just miss him every day. And in so many ways, I can't believe that he or Jay have actually passed away. Even though Jay's been passed for over 20 years, because we listen to their voices. We listen to the things that they've said. We've talked about, and we continue to live out the things that they taught us. And we continue to see why these ideas are so important in our lives, right? And so when I kind of walk in, I see their quotes and I hear their voices. I just say, I'm home. Here we are. We're home, right? This is what we're here for. This is what this is about. And as Luke was mentioning, say when we talk about our vision, our mission, our cause, it's about people. This business is about people. Helping people live a better life. Now, that doesn't mean we go and we say, well, we're going to define a better life for you. This was the reason why we chose these words and why we talk about these. You're going to define what a better life is for you. You're going to set the goals for yourself. You're going to determine those sorts of things that are important to you and that will drive you for your success. But those are going to be your decisions, because this business is about people. People coming together. And I was reminded of this a number of years ago now. When I first went to university, I was quite a ways from home, and I met some AMWAY leaders in the local town where I was going to school. By a chance meeting, at a restaurant. I was with my mom and dad, and this couple came in with their family, and they saw Rich Devos, and they introduced themselves and offered to me a warm meal, and that was all I needed as a young kid, and I liked to eat a lot, so I became friends with them very, very fast, and they taught me a lot about the Amway business. I would go to their meetings, I would watch what they did, meet with their groups, and just kind of be there with them during the time I was at university. Unfortunately, a number of years ago, the gentleman passed away quite suddenly. He was not that old, and we lost him. And they didn't have a huge Amway business. They had a nice business. They took care of themselves and their family. And I went down. I had heard about it. I wanted to go to the funeral, so I came down. I wanted to go to visit. And I was thinking, okay, it might be hard to find the location, where the funeral's being held, and there's probably not going to be that many people there. And when I got to the funeral home, the parking lot was packed. There were people everywhere. License plates from cars all in the states surrounding this area. People had driven hours to come visit, to be with the family, to share their condolences. And as I was there, leaders, their upline said, "Don't you worry, Doug, we're going to take care of the family. We're going to be there with them. We're going to make sure that they can get through this together. We're not going to leave them alone. We're going to walk with them." And all I can think of is how powerful it is when people genuinely care about people. And I think of that scene or something similar to it when there's a tragedy in somebody's family, that Amway people are there for them, that they surround them, whatever that may be, that we're there for each other. This is a business about people. And so it's these ideas that stand the test of time and connect with cultures all over the world. So I'm not going to try to go through and read everything to you or go through it, but I want to talk about these founders' fundamentals. I'm going to start there and go to the values. But these are these timeless ideas that Dad and Jay talked about, and we were able to write them down because for most of our lives, they just lived these ideas and talked about these ideas. But when they were transitioning to our generation of leadership in the business, we said, you got to write them down for us so we can make sure we're communicating and going in the right direction with what you have articulated. And so we talk about freedom and family and hope and reward, that these ideas connect across, as I said, they're timeless, that they connect across cultures, and they connect across generations. And they talked about freedom. Again, they grew up in a world that was shaped by two very difficult and challenging events in the United States for them. They grew up in the midst of the Great Economic Depression of the 1930s that changed their lives, that created a very impactful experience for them, and World War II. And so they lived in these areas where the future was very uncertain, and there were ideas about how people would live that were being challenged. And they landed on the side of freedom, personal and economic freedom. And the ideas that they talked about in high school, that they wanted to get in business together, they saw the idea of having their own business as a path to personal and economic freedom. And I was able to watch Jay and ultimately Steve as well when they served as the chairman of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. That they represented all of the businesses in the United States of America to the United States and to countries around the world. I saw how they stood for these ideas, the idea of personal freedom and economic freedom. And in Jay's speeches, he would talk about them. They are like twins that cannot be separated. They go together. These ideas are vital. And so this idea that when you are building your business, you're not only earning an income, you're building your life. And so we have to think in terms of the value and the importance of what this means to you, to your family, and to your future. This is not a business transaction. We are not in Amway as a business transaction. You do this, we do this, you do this, we do this. Sure, there's a lot of things we do like that, but our purpose is a relationship. We are committed to you for your lifetime and for the lifetime of the children and the family that follows. We have generational commitments. That's what that means. That's what that means. So it's powerful, that idea. And of course, family. Let's roll that one in a little bit. So many times, families are unique, right? We all have family stories, right? There's always, it's great when the family gets together, except, that person's there. And it's always great when the family gets together, except maybe that person's there. And one of the things that Dad would always joke about with us, and when he would talk, he'd say, Jay and I were friends in high school. We chose each other. And then he looks at us and the next generation, goes, you all didn't have a choice. You didn't have a choice. You're stuck with it. He's kind of right. We didn't have a choice necessarily, but we decided to make the positive choice. We were going to be families. The two families of Anandles and Devos were going to be one family. And we make that choice every day with your family. We want to be part of your family too. We are in this together. And maybe you didn't choose the other lines of sponsorship that are in part of your organization. You chose your sponsor. You chose your upline. And you worked with your downline in your organization. Maybe you didn't choose the others. You didn't maybe choose the management. But we have to have this idea that says, I'm going to make a choice now, like a family commitment, that we are going to choose each other and we're going to work at something special together in a bond and with a relationship that cannot be separated. All right? That's what we mean by family, and the fact that this can go for your family for generations. One of the best things I love about this business is when We're together many times, and here's our children, here's our grandchildren. Look at the pictures, look at what's going on. They're active in the business, they're just getting started, they're making something happen. All these ideas, excuse me, that come together with this idea of family. Sorry, I'm so excited, I'm talking too much. Need a little water here. Sorry about that. All right, I'll keep going a little bit. Hope. You know, I mentioned earlier the major events in Dad and Jay's life that shaped them with the Depression and World War II. But I'm sure that each and every one of you have something that shaped your life. And that was a challenge that you faced. And that something traumatic or something difficult happened. And it's easy when that happens in life to think that that's the way it's going to be for the rest of your life. And I want to congratulate you because you have moved through that. One of the biggest things that Dad would always talk about when he would talk about hope was this idea, this belief that you're not stuck. That if you're in a bad place, that if something has gone wrong, that if something is tremendously difficult, you're not stuck there. You're not destined to be in that place forever. You can do something to move through and get to a better place. And that's the idea of AMWAY. You can do something about it, and you can find your way through to a better place. And wherever that is, again, for your situation, we don't know what that is for you. We don't know what that challenge may be, but we can tell you with certainty, because we've seen it in the lives of people around the world, that you are not stuck. And today, I would say, if we think of the challenges that we're facing in the marketplace, we are not stuck. We can do something about it, and we're going to do something about it together to keep ourselves moving forward. You know, some of you may know the stories that Dad and Jay would write letters back and forth to each other when they were serving in the U.S. Army. And to see some of those letters, you know, and that Jay would write, you know, hey, he called Dad Richie, you know, hey, Richie, someday, Richie, this war is going to end. Someday we're going to get in business together. Someday we're going to get back home and we're going to do something special. This idea that we're not stuck. Whatever the challenge is, we can do different things together and move our way forward. So that's what we're talking about. It's that idea. And it applies to life, and it applies to AMWAY, and it applies to our future. That allows us to dream big and then do the work necessary to achieve it. So that's where we go with hope. And then reward is the very human desire to say, when I do something, there should be some level of reward or thanks. And not without humility. Not that you're only doing something because you want something there, but it's a fair thing to be rewarded and recognized for work that you accomplish, for talents that you contribute, for ways that you help. And so this idea of this simple plan, this plan. I was riding with my father in the car once, and he was just looking out the window, and I said, what are you thinking about? And he just smiled and laughed. He goes, the plan. I'm thinking about the plan. This simple idea, this simple structure that was put together and that he and Jay refined to turn it into kind of what it is today, and that John and Luke and the team continue to refine, and all of us try to think, how do we make a little change here and a little change here, and that's good to make it better, but the core essence of the plan is there, and it works. And it has worked, and it will continue to work because it recognizes this idea that when you do something, you will get a reward. And it's very clear about how that works. And it's our job to make sure those two things get connected. And that then we have fun on the relationship side. That's when recognition comes in. That's when we can have fun at certain times. That's when we can really define leadership and recognize you for what you've accomplished, not only just with the plan, but the impact you are having on people's lives. You are leaders. You're here in this room as leaders, not only because you've met the criteria of the plan, but because you've helped other people be successful in their business, and that's special. And we know that, and we see that, and we celebrate that. So reward is all those human elements that are part of our relationship where we say, we thank you, we appreciate you, we respect you. We acknowledge what you've done and what you've accomplished, and here's how we try to package it together in a way that makes sense and that is reliable and duplicatable and that you can promise to people as well. And so those are some of the ideas. And if we take those as a package and we keep putting them together, those are the ideas that define who we are. These are the things that stand the test of time. Now I'm going to spend a little bit more time over here on the values side of things and talk about partnership, personal worth, responsibility, and integrity. And I'm going to take another sip of water. Before I do that, and I'm sorry, I'm probably just talking too much here, so my apologies for rambling on. But this idea of partnership is one of the most, so this is kind of the core of what we believe, and this is over here of the values. This is how we act. This is how we behave. This is kind of how we turn these beliefs into behaviors. That's the difference. And so these are the things, when we talked with the management team earlier today, how do we express these beliefs? How do we act in this manner and behave in this way inside the organization with the work that we do? And so this idea of partnership is one of the most powerful yet most delicate relationships that we have. And because true partnership is defined through trust. And again, if I go back to the relationship that we saw with Dad and Jay, Jay and Rich, they trusted each other. And I remember Jay talking about their relationship with me once, and he talked about in the early days, they really weren't together a lot. Dad was, Rich was out in the field, and he was working with all the leaders in the field, and Jay was an aide at the company, and he was kind of dealing, it was like Mr. Outside, Mr. Inside, and he said, but the nature of our relationship is that we trusted each other. He said, your dad would be out there and he'd be talking with all the distributors at the time, and he'd be making decisions and he'd be taking action. And Jay said, and I supported him 100%. And then he smiled and looked at me and said, even when he was wrong. Right? And I laughed, and Jay continued. He said, of course, I was back here and I made decisions and I took actions, and your dad supported me 100%. And he smiled one more time and said, even when I was wrong. Right? Partnership exists between imperfect people, right? None of us are perfect, but yet we have to find a way to continue to build trust. And when we make mistakes, that trust starts to erode. And that's the thing that breaks my heart more than anything. And that's one of the things that I think when we get together in this room and we talk, one of the things I look back in recent years where we've done some things, we've made decisions where we've broken some of that trust and hurt some of that belief. And that's what we're here to restore and rebuild and make sure we are recommitted to say, we absolutely believe in you and our relationship with you and our partnership with you and our commitment to build trust every day and in every action we take. But we're going to ask for forgiveness because we're going to make mistakes. We're not going to be perfect. But we're going to ask you to continue to believe in us and partner in us, with us the same way we believe in you and partner in you. And recognize that when mistakes are made or when things go wrong, we still have a relationship. And then we come together and we find solutions together. All right? It's easy. I'm sorry, I'm rumbling over. Am I okay on time to... it's easy in a relationship when something goes wrong to jump right to blaming somebody. And Dad and Jay talked about that a lot. They said we never said I told you so, or we never tried to pin the blame. All they tried to do was understand the problem and figure out a solution. There's a friend of ours in Grand Rapids who had a business, and he was one of those guys that was wired a little bit differently. He was one of those guys who always had to find somebody to blame. And so when something went wrong, he just couldn't get through it, and he couldn't move on until there was somebody to blame. So his management team at his company, they figured this out, and they all volunteered at a time when something would go wrong, even if it wasn't their fault, they would raise their hand and say it was their fault. So he could blame them and yell at them for a couple minutes and then move on. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. I don't think so. But I only share that story to say, we're all human. And we all come at these things a little differently. And it's tempting to blame each other, even when we do genuinely make mistakes. But I think it's more restorative and it's more powerful when we forgive and we keep coming back together and say we're going to be accountable for those mistakes. I'll talk about that in a second. But we're going to still be partners together. We're going to maintain our relationship and find a way to work together and move forward. That's what we're trying to do. And I'll go to the next one, responsibility. And responsibility, we are responsible for our actions. You are responsible for your actions. Whatever it is, your actions, sometimes your inactions, and the results of those actions or inactions, we are responsible. And we believe that people are responsible, that we don't have to sit on top of people all the time and say, do this, do this, do this, do this, and like watch people say, you got to do all this sort of stuff. We say, here's what we're trying to achieve, go do it. Because we believe that if people are given an opportunity, they do something with it. And they would try to do the right thing with it. Whether it's the plan and the simplicity of the plan that people would grab it, they would do something. They had that opportunity, they would do something just like what you've done. Or it's inside the company. But we need to all continue to work in the spirit of partnership and be responsible to one another and accountable to one another. And when we fail or when we make a mistake or when we kind of do something wrong, it's okay to talk about it and find our way around to get to the right spot. But that doesn't absolve any of us, of being responsible for our actions. One of the most difficult things that ever happens in the Amway business, Rajneesh talked about earlier, when we have to confront somebody because they've broken the rules to such a degree that they can no longer be in the business because they're going to hurt everybody else. Hundreds. Breaks my heart. I hate hearing that. It just breaks my heart. But I know those are the actions we have to take. I've seen it in markets around the world that we have to hold ourselves accountable and responsible to do things the right way, whether it's inside the company or whether it's in the business or just in the marketplace, whatever it is, we have to hold ourselves accountable together, be responsible to follow the laws, to follow the rules, to follow these ideas, the founders' fundamentals, these values, to apply them in our lives in a consistent, reliable way. Because that's how you hold us all together. We have to have that responsibility and that accountability to each other. Upline, downline, different lines of sponsorship, company, field, company, India, headquarters. You get what I picture, right? You get the drill. And certainly in the marketplace, certainly with the government officials, with the marketplace, with customers, with prospects, we have to be responsible and accountable to each other to conduct ourselves in a way that's honorable and that builds trust and attracts people to who we are. That's what we mean by that one. And then I'll go to personal worth. The beauty of the Amway business is that it's available to everybody. Everybody. One of the drives that Dad and Jay had in the early days of global expansion was because they thought this opportunity should be shared with people all over the world. And in fact, they would tell us the story of a consultant that they had pretty in the early years of the business who looked at the business and said, you want to be careful about who you sponsor. You don't want to just sponsor anybody. All right, you got to be careful about that. You might want to, you want to make sure that they have some, education. They got to have a good education, right? And then they got to have some sales experience, and they should have, presentation skills, because that's who you really want to sponsor, right? Those are the people. You don't want to just let anybody in here. And Dad and Jay fired him. They fired him. They got rid of him, right? Because they had a simple question that he couldn't answer. He said, who do you want to leave out? We don't want to leave anybody out. We want to have everybody in. We want to create an environment where everybody is welcome. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. We want you to come in here. We want you to have an opportunity to be successful. We want to give you a chance on your own merit, by your work, to do something and be successful, and we'll help you. And that applies to everybody. So many people in the world want to divide us up. They want to put us in different classes. They want to put us in different background. They want to try to find ways, age brackets and all the different divisions that they want to create. So I get sometimes you're going to market to this group, and we got this group over here and that. Okay. But that's not Amway. Amway is available to everybody, because we believe in the value of everybody, that everyone is created special. And there's nothing I can do to make you better, and there's nothing I can do to make you worse. You are who you are, and you have value because of who you are, and we believe in you just because of who you are. And that's an idea that was from the very beginning. So whenever we're talking to people, understand the value that every person brings and the potential that they have with it. Well, I'm going to finish on integrity. And I want to finish on that because those are the things that we all do when we do the right thing, even when nobody's looking. And when you fail at integrity, that's when trust is broken. That's when trust gets broken. And I want to acknowledge that there's times in our past where we've failed. Whether it's in this market or in other markets, we've had some failures as a company. And we acknowledge that. But failing doesn't mean you're done. Failing always means you have a chance to get it right. And we want to talk about this, and we want to build in our culture so powerfully and so strongly that we don't ever have to talk about these sorts of failures again. Whether it's in the company or if it's in the field. As I said, Rajneesh talked about people we had to move out of the business because of their actions. This is one of the most impactful, personal, relational issues. Can I count on you? Can I trust you? Can I work with you? Do you understand me? Will you listen to me? Do you hear what I'm talking about? All those elements are connected with integrity. It's not just that you did the audit and the audit came back clean. It's how we go about living our lives. One of the things people would always ask about Dad and Jay, it's like, what are they like at home? I see them on the stage, or I see them in in all these other forums. What are they like at home? I said, they're the same. It's not that exciting. Nothing's different. All these ideas that we're talking about today, that they shared with us and with all of you, were because they lived it every day. They lived it every day. So as I kind of bring this together, I'll get back to that point. Sometimes, Rich and Jay were asked, wow, you had great vision. You must have had great vision, to think of all this. What's this global business that has happened around the world? All the people that have been part of it, all the things that have had. What vision? And they said, no. We had dreams. We had aspirations. We had goals. But what we did was we went to work every day. We lived our life like this every day. Right? And we knew that if we would just do it day in, day out, the simple things, the not real complicated things, the not real fancy things to talk about, but the simple things, every day, do it right, make a mistake, learn, do it right the next time, learn, get better, every day. And then they were blessed to see what happened and resulted from that. And I think that's where I want to kind of bring us back together here. There's not one moment in time, or there's not one product launch, or there's not one speech that's going to be given, or there's not one of anything that's going to all of a sudden, boom, everything changed. It's going to be the work that we do every day. It's going to be the applications of the Founders' Fundamentals, these values in our lives and in our work every day. And it's the actions that we take working together with people in this business every day, step by step, day by day, that are going to get us to reach the potential we're dreaming of and that we're talking about. That's what's going to do it. And so we're at a time where we wanted to, and I wanted to kind of share that, Amway's Amway. We're still Amway. No matter what people say around us or on the outside, and they want to describe us one way or another, we define who we are. We define what Amway means. We define our relationships and our future. We're the ones who are going to do the work together. All of us, all of your teams, all of your groups, all of us in this business, all around the world, we're the ones who are going to do the work together. Right? And we're the ones who are going to keep dreaming big, step by step, day by day. And I want to encourage you to make these values and these Founders' Fundamentals as real in your life as I've seen reflected in mine. And I've tried to make them real in my life as well. Because then we know who we are and what we're trying to do together. And when we make mistakes, we're going to hug each other, we're going to lift each other up, and we're going to find solutions, and we're going to keep moving forward. So I want to just close with my sense of appreciation and thankfulness for each and every one of you, the leadership that you have exhibited. Amway India is here today because of your work and your desire, your determination, your commitment. That's why we're here, even with the challenges that we faced around. That's why we have what we have. And we have a foundation with these ideas and with your hard work together. We have a foundation that will truly allow us to realize the full opportunity and the full potential of this market and each and every one of us in this room and in this business as we go forward and as we go forward together. So thank you for all that you do. Thanks for letting me share some thoughts. We love you, and we'll look forward to being with you here in a little bit together. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Doug, John, Luke, Joe, for such invaluable sound bites and the address to all the leaders in India. So ladies and gentlemen, can we all give a huge, huge round of applause to Doug, John, Luke, and Rajneesh. And on behalf of Rajneesh, the leadership team, and all the leaders in the room, Doug, we would like to request you to come back to India again very, very soon. Let's once again give a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm certain all of us registered that when Doug spoke about the fundamentals and the values, what he very explicitly mentioned is that this is not what describes us. This is what defines what Amway is all about. So let's give a huge, huge round of applause for the founder fundamentals and the values that we have in our Amway business. And with that, we want to sincerely thank all our ABOs who joined us virtually for being with us and being able to hear this very, very inspiring address from Doug, John, and Luke in this meeting today. And we want to thank each one of you for being here and part of this very, very historic event that we all created together. So a big round of applause to each one of you. I want to also sincerely thank our 4 leaders who helped us with the translation into the 4 vernaculars so that the complete essence is captured and it translated from the stage to each one of you. We will now move from here in 2 steps. We will invite all our executive diamonds and above for a very, very exclusive dinner with Doug and the global leadership team. That will happen in the Dia restaurant on the ground floor level. all the diamonds and founder diamonds will travel back to Grand Hyatt, and that's where the dinner for our diamonds and founder diamonds is. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we capture this historic moment for all of us. And we want to do 4 pictures for all the diamonds and above with Doug, John, Luke, Joe, and Rajneesh. So I'll request Manish to come up on the stage and guide us how we will move in 4 regional groups from here to the other room, one after the other, and very quickly complete the group picture for all of us. So Manish.
Thank you, Vijay. Very quickly, with your support, आप सबके support के साथ हम इस तरह से करेंगे. So we are going to follow the news method, right? So we'll start with the north and the east team. तो मेरे colleagues हैं, all my colleagues are there. So all the leaders of north region will request all of y'all to move outside the hall to the back entrance. So the back gate, and the photograph is going to be taken at the Royal Hall, which is a little ahead from this Pearl Hall. So I'll request all the North leaders, follow my colleagues there to forward, go from the back. All the East leaders, okay, all the East leaders, may I request you to use the exit from the left, from my left, and go towards the Royal Hall. I will request all the other leaders to please sit down and wait while we'll finish the shoot, and then we'll ask you to move forward. एक और बार फिर से जितने भी मेरे नॉर्थ के लीडर्स हैं पीछे के दरवाजे से रॉयल हॉल की तरफ जाएं, और जितने भी हमारे ईस्ट के लीडर्स हैं मेरे लेफ्ट साइड के जो एंट्रेंस हैं वहां से आप एग्जिट करें और वहां की तरफ जाएं, और जितने भी हमारे वेस्ट और साउथ के लीडर्स हैं अभी बैठ जाएं. 1, 2, 3 मिनट के बाद हम वापस अनाउंस करेंगे.